Friends, internet won't be called an interconnected net without hyperlinks. So there are lots of individual pages, and the thing that links them together are hyperlinks. So let's learn about them. So for example, I have created a small application for all of you. So we have books.html, coffee.html, contact.html, index.html. They are all at the exact same level, right? By the level I mean, if you look at the directory structure, friends, I'll just zoom in a little bit. So we have inside of our desktop a directory called HTML Asan hai. Inside of that we have links, and all of these are inside of links, right? So we say that all of these are in the same level, right? Now if I go inside about, there is a page called about.html, founders.html. So about.html is not in the same level as books. It's one level down. And inside, then another level down we have founders.html. So if you see the directory structure, you have a project called links, a directory called links, in which you have books, coffee, contact, index. Inside of that you have about, inside which you have about.html, and another directory called founders, and inside of that you have founder. So now when I say these four files are in the same level, I think it makes a little bit more sense to you, right? One level down we have about.html, second level down we have founder.html. So all of them are very simple HTML file that I have just created for you. So now what I want is, friends, first thing I think before even moving to links, let me try to explain you something. So when I open index.html or contact.html or books.html using live server, you will see something like this, right? So this particular page you will be able to see in the browser. Okay, what I did is I just right clicked and opened them with live server. So here you will see that there is path to books.html. There is an IP address or local host. This is the address of our own computer, which is acting as a server now. And ports you can think of as several doors through which our page could be accessed. So if it was an open server, right? If it was a computer that had open ports, right? So this books could be accessed from any other computer connected to internet. But right now, because of live server, it's just available to the local host or our own computer from this particular port that was auto-assigned. And this is the path to the HTML file. Don't worry too much about it. We'll go into depth of it later. For now, just understand that this represents the root. By root, I mean the folder in which our file, HTML file, is present from where we started the live server. Okay. And this is the file that we want to access, books.html. If I want to access coffee.html, all I can do is coffee.html and I can see that page. If I want to access friends contact.html, I can access it this way. And friends, if I want to access about.html, how can I do that? So I can do that using about/about.html. You can see I can access the about us page. If I want to access founder.html, how do I do that? So after our root, inside about, we have a directory called founders. And inside of that, we have a file called founder.html, and we are able to access our founders page. So similarly, the way we access directories, right? Very similar to that. This is the root. So when I'm saying root, I mean the folder, the immediate folder. For example, I started live server on books.html. So the folder in which books exist, right? Which is the links folder, the folder in which all 4 of these exist, books exist. The links folder is our root. So now friends, if I don't give any file here to the root, if I just try to open the root directory, I'm not giving name of any file, I'm just trying to open a root, a directory. Can you think which file would be opened? Index, contact, coffee, books, about, founder, right? So let's see what happens. So if I try to access, you will see that our index.html is open. Now this is something you should know, and probably you know that if you directly try to access a directory, a folder, a root folder from a browser will try to find a file called index.html and open that. So that's why most of the home pages, the welcome pages, the first pages that you see when you type any URL is index.html. Next friends, browsing files this way by typing different things like contact.html in the URL does not make much sense, right? It's not a very good user experience. So inside of index.html, I want to create a link, friends. Inside of index.html, I want to create a link called books. And this should be a link, a hyperlink, and when I click it, it should take me to the books page, the books web page, this one. How do I do that? We do that by surrounding or wrapping books with an anchor tag, A for anchor. And if I try to wrap book with an anchor tag, you will see that Visual Studio Code or Emmet gives me an attribute called href for free. So you can see that as soon as I surrounded books with an anchor tag which had a href attribute, immediately it looks like a link. When I hover over it, the pointer turns into hand, and it tries to give us a hint, a clue that it is now a link. Now where will this link take us is something that we need to type here inside of href. So right now I want it to take us to an HTML page called books.html, which is in the same level of index.html. So books.html. If I save it, and now if I click books, see, it takes us to books, right? Much more better than typing it out here, right? Now inside of books, I want to create a page, a link called home page. So whenever home is clicked, I want it to take me to index.html page. Is it making sense, friends? So now if I click home, it takes me to index. If I click books, it takes me to the books page. So similarly, in index.html, I can create another hyperlink just by pressing A for coffee. So now if I click coffee, it will take me to the coffee page. I can create another hyperlink, another link. I can use anchor tag. So basically these are called links or the URLs. And the outcome of it, the clickable link, is called a hyperlink. Okay. Now if I want to go to maybe contact.html, I can create a hyperlink for that. So far, very good, easy, right? One more thing I'll do is, just to make it look like a more real world menu, I'll maybe copy this here, because in websites you do have a home link, right? Usually the logos are home link. So inside of index, I'll also put a home link. So it looks more like a real menu. Lovely, right? Already looking so much more better. Now friends, what if I want to access or put a link to this about page, which is just one folder down inside a folder called about? So again, it's very simple. I'll create an anchor tag. Here I'm putting the path relative to the current page. So right now, these were in the same level relative to index.html, so I was able to use them directly. Now I want to access about, so the path to that would be about/about.html. Cool. And I'll create another one for founders. So inside of about we have founders. Inside of that we have founder.html, and we'll name it founder. And if I save it, so now I have a wonderful menu. I can go anywhere. So for example, I can go to books page, I can go to coffee page, I can go to contact page, I can go to about page, and I can go to founders page. Lovely, right? Now usually all of our pages in a web application, they have these links, right? So let me copy paste it everywhere in all the pages. Okay, so what I'll do is, I am already inside of index, inside of contact as well I'll paste it, inside of coffee as well I will paste it, inside of book as well I'm pasting it, inside of about I'll paste it. Again, we will hit a challenge and then we'll fix it. Okay, now we have this inside of all of our pages. Now let's see how our user experience looks like. So from the home page, I can go to books. From books, I can go again back to home. From book, then I can go to coffee. From coffee page, I can go to books, right? From books, I can go to contact. From contact, I can go to about. From about, if I try to go to books, see what happens. Can you spot what just happened? It's interesting, right? So friends, if I go to about.html,